Welcome to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. I'm Stuart Wellborn, a British author and former therapist, and each week I sit down with Wa-Na-Nee-Che, a spiritual elder from Turtle Island, to explore the deeper truths behind healing, ceremony, and connection to Source. Good evening, Wa-Na-Nee-Che. How are you today?
Oh, not too bad.
I thought before we carry on with anything else, last week you were talking about energies and spirits and all sorts of things and cures. And I said there was two things I wanted to ask you and get clarification on, and we covered one, but we didn't cover the other, and that was protection from spirits and energies.
Well, it depends on the spirit, of course. Generally, spirits can't really do you any harm, but if they keep bothering you and everything, you can burn sage in your room.
Uh-huh.
When you do that, you have to basically, again, when you do the sage, put it in your hand and you roll it to a ball, you got to explain to the sage what you want it to do. Now, if you want to keep them out of your room, there are certain things that even the Celts used to do. They used to use salt for protection.
Uh-huh.
Uh, One of the ways if you can deal with a certain type of spirits, but there are certain things that can do you harm. So, in order to protect yourself, because people can do ceremonies that can harm you if they can get personal items from you. That's why we're always, every time, if you start talk to some of your spiritual people, especially the native people, they'll always tell you don't give anybody your hair because the hair grows in, comes out of your head. So therefore it's attached to you. So they can do certain type of ceremonies that can bring you harm just by having your hair. There's a there was a movie out called Mystic, and it was showing that how a medicine man would use certain type of things that he would get from people, and then he became his victim. But tobacco and sage can be utilized by, again, telling it what you want it to do, then putting it into a little small red bundle. And then you tie up that bundle, and you can hang it on top of your windows and on top of your doors so that nothing can come in.
You say a red bundle, you mean like just a bit of red cloth?
Yeah, red cloth. You can use red cloth. And then the other thing too, you can sit and you can smudge around your house to protect your house from anyone. You have to do it like at least once every maybe week or 2 weeks. You have to smudge the whole house, and that will help out for protection and everything.
It's funny you're saying about not giving your hair away. I can't remember what film it was or even series. It might have been The Night Stalker. You remember that with Darren
Yeah,
McGavin?
remember Night Stalker, yeah.
Yeah, where I think it was a voodoo episode and how like by getting the somebody's personal, you know, bit of hair or something like that, that they could do spells and that. And
Uh-huh.
I know that since growing up that people who do spell work do that.
Yeah.
So even since being a kid, all right, going to the dentist after seeing the Night Stalker, when ever I've had a tooth out, I've always said I want it back because that way
Yeah.
nobody could have it to do some voodoo on me. I still do it now.
You could always put it under your pillow and do voodoo by saying, "Fairy, tooth fairy, come."
Yeah, the funny thing about that shit is I find is if you know very powerful spells and stuff like that, that shit won't work actually, but you have to know those powerful spells to put protection over yourself so no harm comes upon you if people try to do stuff like that.
All right. Do you know those
Probably want
particular?
it's usually some kind of object usually that helps because it helps repel it.
Yeah. The other thing too is that you can actually make a medicine bag that you can carry around your neck, that protects your chakra and everything from people coming at you.
Would you like to go deeper into that?
Pardon?
Sorry, I say, would you like to go deeper into that and explain what you put in a medicine bag then and how you create one? I'm sure people would be interested to know that.
Again, sage, but you roll it and tell it what you want it to do. You can put tobacco. Sometimes what I do is tell people if they have OSHA as a gift for those whatever energies are going to protect you, it's a gift for them to say thank you for protecting them. And try to find like your favorite crystal that you always use, a small one, and that basically gives you protection. You can put that in there, and then you sew it up so that it can't be opened.
So what would you use for the leather or what material to make the bag or
Whatever,
pouch?
whatever your favorite thing that you use, your favorite, like, could be a plant, could be a crystal, could be a little tool.
No, I mean for making the actual pouch.
Yeah, as you make it, you basically you can buy a pouch from somebody, and then put your stuff in there, but then seal it.
Right. Oh, like those ones that you get for jewelry and things like that then,
Yeah.
those kind of pouches.
But one thing I have to tell them too, that when you have your pouch, because the pouch is basically a way of not only protection, but to help you to believe. Once you get to a point sometimes when you believe enough that you can protect yourself by yourself, for some reason, the medicine pouch disappears.
Oh,
I when I wore one, I sat there and I put stuff up, and I'd even wear it at night when I went to bed. Never took it off. And one morning I woke up and the pouch was gone. And I tore the bit apart looking for the pouch. I know it was all on my neck. What did I do? Did I get up in the middle of the night not knowing and went put it someplace? So I looked all over the house. About 2 days I looked. Then I was sent on assignment to South Dakota, and I was talking to one of the medicine people, and I told him the story, and he started to laugh. I said, "What are you laughing at? I lost it. You didn't lose it." He said, "Once you sat there and you could protect yourself, that pouch went inside of you. So you've never lost it." He said, "The pouch is inside of you."
literally, or just
Yeah,
energetically.
because I looked all over and I couldn't find it.
When you say you wear them, then is it something you wear around your neck then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just wear it, and it usually centers right around. Oh, I would say right here, right by your throat. And then a lot of times people sit there and they see the natives with chokers on, right?
yeah.
The choker was used to protect your chakra within your throat. That's why you always see them with it on. That
Is
was
that the thing that I had of yours for ages after you took your stuff back, but I sent you? I think
uh
it was last year. Was it last year? Because you
yeah,
asked me if I'd got it, and I was like, yes, I've been meaning to contact you. Is that what you're on about, that thing?
yeah. I thought I'd lost that choker, so so all of a sudden when you showed, I said, "My God, that's where it's at." So for some reason it was there for you.
Well, I never utilized it. I was just looking after it for you.
Well, you don't have to use it. It was in your house.
All right, cool. So we've covered spirits that can't really hurt you, but what about energies? Because things such as demons, if they exist, or dark energies, is there ways to protect yourselves from them?
Well, if you start getting attacked by them, there's a ceremony you can do. But I can't tell the people what the ceremony is. If it happens, I can go do it. But if it involves basically a way that you utilize sage, you utilize holy water that the sage makes, and you use a eagle feather. And then what you do is you go around. There's a certain thing you do, but then they have to say, "I basically I reject all negative energy that has been put on me." And you do it like 4 times, and you hit him with the holy water, And when you finally finish it, the fourth switch call, the negative energy is swallowed up by a black hole, and they never bother you again.
So would that be for things like when we see in the horror films, like demonic possessions that Catholic priests tend to come out and I forgot what you call it, the ceremony.
Demons are just a more powerful form of a human spirit's negative energy, basically. They're just more powerful in the negative energy. And they can take shapes and shapeshift themselves to look something evil, but they're still human spirits. They're
Right.
just more powerful human spirits with
Yeah.
negative energy. That's
Yeah,
it.
that ceremony will actually take any type of possession out of your body. I've experienced that maybe twice. I've done it quite a bit, but two of them they were possessed. And when I finally ended up with the last holy water getting them hit, they collapsed inside the circle,
Now,
and whatever it was left. Uh, but like I said, if I feel some people have the how would you say the right energy, they can do it. But you can't do it to yourself. Someone has to help you do it. It's like when you guys had the mad cow disease there.
Hmm.
There was this place where this woman had gotten trampled by the cows. And I went to the place and I filled my sacred pipe. And as I walked in this one area, there was no wind, there was no life in the trees, no birds, no nothing. Everything was silent. So I did the ceremony. And as I was doing the ceremony, when I opened up the portal to send these whatever energy, negative energies were there, it was like I was getting hit with little mosquito bites. Boom, 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 boom. But they were flying at me. And I stood in in the center of that circle. And when I had all of them in there, I jumped out real quick and I closed the circle and trapped them. And I sent them to the black hole, in which in the black hole, your energy only lasts maybe for a day or so before it dissipates. That means it no longer exists. It can no longer come back to Earth. It can no longer be what I say, it can no longer be recycled. But when I finished the ceremony, all of a sudden I stepped back and the wind came in. The birds flew into the trees and the
Wow.
cattle started mooing.
So what would cause that then?
Just a negative energy that basically the farmers didn't realize that they created. You don't feed cattle. You're not carnivorous. You know, you're vegetarians. But when they start feeding them sheep brains into their food, well, it caused the cow to go crazy. But they never understood that. Knew about it right away. As soon as I seen the first cow disease, I said the farmers created this. They did something that was not part of nature. So there are ways, it all depends. If someone gives me a vision that they had, or they tell me about something happening in their house, then I can go ahead and do the ceremony. And I can teach other people to do this if they're qualified.
What do you mean by qualified?
They have to have the gift. Just like I know you watch Exorcism, right?
Uh-huh.
How many
That was the word I was
priests did
looking
you
for.
how many priests did you see doing the exorcism that do it, and when they get that they have gray hair? Because what did they use to do the exorcism?
The Bible and a bit of holy water, isn't it, normally?
They use a cross with a stem.
Right.
That cross has no power. It represents a cruel thing that happened to Jesus that was crucified. Now, the original one is the four-sided. That's the one you use. And you can do an experiment with people. You have them hold their hand out and then say, I want you to stiffen your arm so I can't push it down, and you can't push it down. But then on the back, while they're sitting there, draw the sign of the cross, and it'll go down when you push on it.
Ah, kinesiology, muscle testing.
Yeah. And then when you, so you don't see what you're doing, then you put the four identical cross on them on sides, and their arm stiffens. So the cross weakens your will. The original one straightens your spirit.
That's interesting. I've mentioned him several times before. One of the people that I heavily read, Professor David Hawkins, and he talks about muscle testing in the fact that, the arm test that you're talking about, is a way to tell truth from
Yeah.
falsehood because you remain strong in, if like something that a statement is true, but if it's false, that means it's got no reality, so therefore you'll go weak in its presence.
Yeah.
Um,
What was your second question?
Second question.
It's gone.
No, the second question. Well, actually, whilst we're on this subject of dark energies and rituals and things, in witchcraft type traditions, Wicca and all those kind of things, most people use magic for good, don't they? Like protection spells and healing spells and things like that, because of the rule of like what you put out comes back to you. However, some people do hexes and things like that. If a hex was put on you, how would you get rid of it?
Okay. Something just whispered in my ear too. That was kind of funny. They said the reason why a lot of these spells work for you, whether they're good or whether they're bad, is your belief system.
Hmm.
So if you sit there and do it and you really believe that this is going to help, guess what? It helps. So a lot of it is the energy versus the mind. The mind can create so many things, but the life force energy can cure it. But you have to believe in your life force energy and get rid of the mental control. And that's one thing that the CD does. The CD goes into your subconscious, and when it does, it starts making you look at those things that create havoc for your mind, control by your mind. And they allow you to look at it. If you know how to read the visions that you go on their meditation, you can cure that. So you cure a little bit, a little bit, a little bit until pretty soon your life force energy takes over. And then you don't have to worry about things.
Just to clarify for listeners and viewers, when he says the CD, we're talking about the guided meditation that you can get for free by going to humancircleoflife.com, filling in your details, and then you get the MP3 of it. I just thought I'd
Yeah.
clarify that for people and promote it for you.
One of the things that I was told to do is that there seems to be a lot of information out there now about people who have died. And I hate the word died. What I like to say is that they ascended. And they tell about their experience that they could see their body. And then all of a sudden they went through on a light. Now, one of the strong belief systems of the indigenous people is that they always followed the rules given to them by the Creator. Their rules weren't given to them by a human being, which all of your religions are based on, is human control. But the one thing that the Creator told the indigenous people, when you're on the earth, respect all life. And the word that I give you that you have to follow, and that's the only thing that you have to follow, is love. Now, I've watched maybe 6 or 7 uh, videos of people who have passed on. One lady basically had cancer. They all end up basically passing away because of some type form of disease. But they had very abusive relationships that they were beaten and basically misused. So when they ascended, passed on, they had that experience where they could see their body, but then they were pulled into the light. And every one of them, when they were in that light, said they didn't have the ability of their body, but their body was like in an energy form, but they could see everything. They could feel everything. There were no, how would you say, regrets for passing on. There were no regrets for the abuse that they suffered. They said all they could feel was love. Their ancestors that were there, were, all they felt was love coming from them. They felt love coming from the energy. And then they were told to go back and to give that one word back to the human beings. So when they came back to their body and they came out of it, any disease they had was cured. And when they asked them what happened, they said that they passed on, but they came back because they had to tell people that they had to start following God's rule, which was love.
Sadly, though, not many people want to hear that message.
Oh, but that's what they have to understand because there's so much hatred in the world right now. The world is being completely turned upside down.
Yeah.
Um, because there's no love anymore. There just seems to be greed, the power. Everybody's seeking all this power that they want.
Narcissism.
So it's like the indigenous people try to tell people. And when they try to tell people the Creator's words, which basically was God, Allah, or whatever you want to call it, try to tell them that you have to learn to respect all life. But what did they do with the indigenous people? They tried to exterminate them because it was a threat to religion. It was a threat to governments. It was a threat to greed. It was a threat to power. And they didn't want to hear it. So they tried to exterminate it.
Okay, right. Two things on this. This one's kind of more of a light-hearted point, but to love everything, all of nature's creation, how do you love a flea?
A what?
A flea, like
A
dogs and
flea?
cats have fleas.
Well, the whole idea is that I always say if something is there and they show me that they're there, they want to go home. But, we sit there, they can't take it to an extreme. Like some of the monks take it to extreme. Like if they see an ant, they go around the ant. How many things are they killing that they can't see when they step?
Well, I suppose there's the thing of, if you're not seeing it, it's a bit different to purposely standing on an ant, isn't
But
it?
there's certain things that life basically has certain rules, and if it's time for something to go home, it'll go home.
Hmm.
If it fulfilled its job of what it's supposed to do, like when they used to do ceremonies for the buffalo, for the deer, and the buffalo would come to give them nourishment, so it was the buffalo's time to go home.
So just back to my flea analogy, though, we don't have to love fleas.
A flea basically, again, they should be living by certain rules that they can only do certain things, but if they become a damage to something, well, then you deal with it.
Sounds fair enough. Rewinding, because all that you were just saying about love was too interesting to interrupt you. But when I said about hexes, then, do you believe in them for starters? And two, are you saying that if you listen to the meditation, the CD, that would remove a hex?
Well, because I don't really believe in them, I can remove them. And then what I have to do is, because the ceremony is utilized to build a belief system in the individual that you're working with, and that it works. But just like, say, for instance, say people know what bowling is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, when you go to a bowling alley and you sit there and you get on a league and you bowl, you try to improve your bowling by certain positions and certain way you throw the ball. So again, everything is a life experience. When you work with people that believe they have hexes, you work with them to a point, and every time you work with a point, you give them a little bit more of a belief system in themselves until finally those hexes won't work on them anymore.
Right. That's cool.
A lot of it comes down to our belief system and our connection. Once we can connect to our life force energy, then a lot of things are made simple. That's why I told people, I said, if you have the workshops, I can give you the tools that you can utilize that will help you to connect. But I can't show them if they don't come.
We'll have
And
to
if you
look
don't
into
use the
getting you
tools,
over here for next year sometime.
yeah, because if you don't use the tools, what good are they?
Exactly. It's knowledge
Just like
wasted.
one lady, that one guy, I used to drive for the railroad for a while, and they had one guy really sarcastic about not believing life force energies and other things. So I finally stopped trying to explain to him, and there was a wooded area, and there was a kind of a pull in. So I pulled in by the tree, and I said, "Go hug the tree." Why? I said, "Go hug the tree. I dare you." So the minute I dared him, aha, it was a challenge. He got out and he went and hugged the tree, and he came walking back, and he was crying. I said, "What happened?" He said, "I felt the energy of the tree. It was dying." And he finally believed that everything has a life force energy in him.
That's all it takes, isn't it? A little bit of experience or something to change your mind.
And
And
then
you
I couldn't shut him up. Yeah, that's all he did for the next 100 miles was ask questions.
problem is the people, kind of people that are listening to a podcast like this aren't the ones that probably need to hear that message, about love because they're already aware of it.
If they see a spirit, the first thing, this is very important, is that you can put tobacco out and say, "Why are you here?" They may have a message for you. And when you try to get rid of them, you don't get the message. So the first thing you do is you ask them, "Do you have a message for me? Are you a good spirit or are you a bad spirit? If you're a bad spirit, I don't want you. I don't believe in you. Stay away." Because sometimes we do ceremonies before we find out whether or not there's a message for us.
So I'm trying to word this question now. If you put the tobacco out then and ask the question of why are you here, would that come to you in a dream or a vision then, the answer?
Probably come while you're dreaming, because then they can take form and they can speak to you. Do you remember Poltergeist?
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but yes.
Okay. But how many people in that particular series died or passed on?
Right.
The only one that survived was a little girl, right?
Yeah. Drew Barrymore,
It,
wasn't it?
it dealt with demons and energies and spirits. A lot of them basically passed on because what was the message that the Poltergeist movie gave to people?
I can't remember. What was it?
Don't go into the light.
Okay.
And the spirits tried to warn them. And Will Sampson was there. And instead of finding out that they were trying to warn them not to put that scene into the poltergeist, he tried to get rid of them. And then he called my friend Jake to see if Jake could cure him because he had about 3 or 4 different diseases, and those diseases killed him because he misread. He didn't know that he should have asked the spirits. but it was already too late. The movie came out, and the message was don't go into the light. Well, the light it basically is the reattachment to the source of the energy. So most of them, because of that movie, they were basically punished for allowing that to happen in that particular scene.
What was wrong with the message then? It's all right. I'm a little fuzzy-headed at the minute.
What they were telling people when they pass on not to go into the light, which was
Right.
heaven, if you want to call it,
Yeah, yeah.
the source of the power. So it was telling people that when you pass, and if you see the light, turn away from it.
Which sends them where?
Back to earth. They become
Ah,
walking spirits.
right. So it was a bad idea and suggestion, and if people took that to heart, they ended up being wandering spirits then.
Yeah. But that's what like again, the CD will help them to get off the fence and to understand certain things that will bring them back to their energy. And I always tell people, it'd be good to start and get part of the human circle of life. But they don't have to physically belong to the circle of life as long as they use the philosophy of the human circle of life and fix the hoop. Because if they can get their system and they can start understanding their life force energy and why they're here, they will discover who they are and they will discover their pathway, their candle. And once they discover their candle, they automatically will start fixing the sacred hoop.
Well, it's like what's it? The Oracle at Delphi, and outside it said, "Know thyself." People often think that that's about learning more about your ego, but
Yeah,
people also say that know thyself is to know the higher self, isn't it?
yeah,
That connection to spirit and things. And so your CD, as you call it, or the guided meditation, as I'll call it, so that people listening know that that's what you can get. Go to the humancircleoflife.com. This is what Wa-Na-Nee-Che is trying to get you to listen to, and it will improve your life.
yeah. But they have to basically find something to help them realize what their connection is. They're so into the mind that the mind controls them so much that they can't find their spiritual energy.
It's interesting that because back to Professor Hawkins, I'm listening to his third book in his series called I, literally just I, subjectivity and reality, I think it is.
Yeah,
And I was just listening to the chapter yesterday where he's talking about that we associate the mind and the ego and that, but that
yeah,
isn't the real us. That's
yeah.
just
The only the only thing I basically would disagree with him
mm,
is when he said when we talked about time travel that it doesn't happen, and I started laughing because I said when you're sleeping and you have a vision and your energy goes before you in the vision, and then when time to wake up, it comes back, and then you're walking down the road a week later, and the same thing happens that was in the vision. You have a déjà vu.
yeah.
That's time travel.
You know what? It's really weird because that's one of the things that I was like, well, I'm not sure I agree with you on that because he talks about how time is not a reality as such. Everything is now and it all exists as now. And it's just, our ego that sees a positionality and how we are in time and space. So we see a progression of time. Well, if that's the case and we can do testing about the past, then surely the future is also now in his philosophy. So why can't we see that? So
Yeah,
that bugged me as well, especially things like tarot, because you can. I'm not a professional tarot reader, but I learnt it when I went out to the Gulf War. I was doing readings for the lads, um, and I was really good. And it wasn't that I was saying this is going to happen to you, but I could pick up what was going on and give a likely outcome if they didn't change. And that's, time travel in a sense, isn't it?
if that was the case, there wouldn't have been no Astrodamus. And he predicted the future. He went way into the future. And then he would predict things that were going to happen. They happened.
Oh, and in ancient times, like the oracles and soothsayers and all that in Rome, Babylon.
Do
Uh,
you have a copy of the White Eagle medicine cards?
yes.
Okay. I want to change it. In fact, I'm working on it now. But just take the cards. Now, the cards themselves are energy cards. There's no human energy in them. And just sit there and hold them and then shuffle them. Then find the cards that kind of talk to you and push them out. And then put the rest of the deck away. And then go over them and then find the one that pulls the strongest and push it out. Next one, push it out. And then what you do is you lay those cards down in any type of form you want them to be, but you always put the weakest one first. Then go around, and each animal will represent something in your life that you need to basically take a look at. And then when you do the last card, the one that's full of energy, it will give you the answer.
Thanks for listening to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. If you'd like to ask Wa-Na-Nee-Che a question, you can email me at stuart@realityresponsibility.com. The link will be in the description. And don't forget, you can download a powerful guided meditation for free at humancircleoflife.com.